All right, you guys, happy Thursday. I'm so sorry that we were off air yesterday. I can definitely explain why. Anyways, what did I miss? Well, apparently, Blake Lively made the Time list for most influential people in the universe. Okay, we'll talk about that. Also, there was a very girly space mission. Katy Perry, Gail King, Lauren Sanchez, they made history. They entered a male dominated sphere and instantly started nagging when they got back. We should talk about it because it is absolutely hilarious. And lastly, Roseanne Barr. Yes, that Roseanne Barr is accusing me of being funded by Qatar, and she is openly stating that she's going to knock me the F out if she sees me. Just a typical day in my life. Welcome back to Candace. First and foremost, regarding yesterday, just so you guys know what happened, this is exactly what happened. I woke up wide awake at 3 o'clock in the morning, was not feeling great. And the first thing that came to my mind was that I desperately needed to organize my son's closets. Like there was nothing more important to me than having the time to organize, color coded my son's closets, my multiple sons' closets. And that's what I did. And I think this is called a nesting phase of pregnancy. I actually have never had it before. A lot of women describe it. They get on their hands and their knees and they start scrubbing right before they go into labor or something. And I just really felt that nothing was more important than me organizing. And so I took a day off to organize those closets. They look fantastic. I will say the only thing that's previously happened that's been remotely even close to that was when I had my first child. I had this sense of dread that my husband was going to die. It was totally crazy, like leading up to labor. And I did not want him to leave the house. I basically became, I was just his captor. It was very scary. And one morning I woke up and he had left the house, or it was when we were living in DC, because he went to go for a run. And I just was boohoo crying on the bed when he came home. And I was just like, why would you go? You could have died. You could have been eaten by a wild boar. He was like, this is DC. There are no wild boars. But I was crying hysterically. I don't know. I just thought that he was going to die no matter anywhere he went. And that my sister went through it too. So I know that it's happened to other women where you essentially just make your husband stay really close to you and joined at your hip. So I was going through one of those crazy spells. This time I did not capture my husband and leave him in a room, but I did have to do some cleaning. So that's the truth. Anyways, what did I miss? Well, you guys were tagging me in some breaking news that Blake Lively has somehow made Time Magazine's list for the 100 most influential people in 2025. Here is the headline. In Time Magazine, there's a write-up, and she is described as a risk taker. You can see at the bottom there, it says by Sherilyn Eiffel. Now, oddly, what's very strange about this placement in the 2025 Time Most Influential list, is that to justify this placement, they reached out to that woman, Sherilyn. She used to work for the NAACP. And the reason why she's made this list is because of a financial contribution that Blake and her husband made to the NAACP back in 2019. I'm not kidding. Right. So back during that time frame, Sherilyn Eiffel served as the seventh president and director counsel of the NAACP Legal Defense Fund. So we're talking money. OK. And here is what she had to say about Blake, according to that Time write-up. She said, quote, "I don't know the Blake Lively of the red carpet or the Met Gala. I never watched Gossip Girl. The Blake Lively I know is a philanthropist and a student of our country's most intractable problems. She and her husband, Ryan Reynolds, reached out in 2019 to make a contribution to the NAACP Legal Defense Fund. I had been getting a few of these calls as our work fighting against voter suppression and police brutality was receiving national attention. I'm always curious about the kind of research that famous people do before they make that cold call to offer their support. The ones that I have remained in a relationship with are those who, like Blake, really did their homework. I admired immediately her curiosity and her sincere work to understand the conditions that shape this country. I remember an early conversation in which she expressed frustration that so much of our nation's history was not a part of the instruction that she had received as a student. Her commitment to filling those gaps and becoming the most fully informed and prepared citizen is what I appreciate most about her. Blake is a serious person. She's a risk taker, and she's committed to moving this country forward for her children and for mine." Wow. That is a glowing review about Blake Lively. Cannot deny what she is saying. It's powerful. I feel empowered by it. Blake felt empowered by it. She replied. She said this openly on her Instagram. She's so shocked by this placement. She has revealed this lovely picture of herself in the Time magazine, and she writes, "It's an honor to be acknowledged on the Time 100 list for 2025. To be written about by the great Sherilyn Eiffel is not something I take lightly. Her work has shaped our nation, who she is as a human woman, mother, leader, fighter, healer, empath, risk taker, and dream maker. Everyone's a risk taker. Has shaped my heart and also my stamina to never stop believing in a future that's better and safer for everyone. Thank you, Time, and thank you, Sherilyn." Beautiful. She says it's an honor. She is blown away. She's completely, her 10-year-old self, she says, is blown away right now that she's made this list. And so people were tagging me because they wanted to know my opinion of this. And I think it is fantastic. I love this. I love this for Blake. I love this so much because she deserves this. One way or another, you have to admit that Blake Lively is indeed influential, okay? You have to respect the monumental level of PR that is taking place here. The monumental level of PR which is being achieved here. Because if all else fails and people don't like you, you just kind of find a minority, preferably a Black person, to tell the world how amazing you are. And that is very clearly the strategy that is being employed here, because why else would something that took place in 2019, meaning Blake Lively gave a donation to the NAACP in 2019, why would that, somebody give me a valid reason, why would that earn her a spot on a list in 2025? Why? The answer is because the public relations team that is employing strategies right now from yesteryear have engaged the NAACP, and we're like, remember that donation that we gave you? And speaking of yesteryear, this is even funnier. If you're wondering why it is that Blake and Ryan decided to give money to the NAACP in 2019, it certainly wasn't because she was getting deep on the issues and suddenly was like, oh, as Sherilyn describes it, I just hate that my upbringing, I didn't learn real Black history. I just right now want to get involved with this legal defense fund. Like, that's not what happened. It wasn't just like suddenly thinking about her middle school experience and what was lacking, okay? What happened in 2019 was that Blake and Ryan were once again in desperate need of good PR. And I will say this time it wasn't their fault, but they did it because it was a PR move. You might not remember, but 2018, 2019, 2020, society was pretty unbearable. Everything was racist. Didn't matter who it was, what it was. Didn't matter if it was somebody's hair that was just being braided. And they were like, that's cultural appropriation. What? And then suddenly they were apologizing, like, I am so sorry that I put my hair in these braids. I will do the work that needs to be done in order for me to recognize that these braids do not belong on my head. That was what we were living through in 2018 to 2020. And you had to constantly offer these non-apologies. It was just it was a fun time, I would imagine, to be white. So there was like the land before common sense. And what happened was Ryan Reynolds tweeted out his support for the movie Black Panthers. Oh no, Mr. Reynolds, don't do it. He tweeted out his support. And so it's amazing, this all Black cast. And suddenly, because white people were walking around on eggshells, there was this massive backlash that happened because the internet police were like, excuse me? Did you say something positive about a Black person? Well, let me just dig through your entire life. And they had found out that the couple had committed an underreported racist offense. He and Blake decided to get married at the Boone Plantation in South Carolina. That's where they got married. There's no slaves in that plantation right now, but it was all about history, the braids. Were there ever slaves here? Did bad stuff happen here? How dare you get married here? And people were outraged. And I'm not kidding. I'm showing you this headline from NBC News. It says, Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively apologize for plantation wedding. Now, this is published in 2020. Scroll down here, Skylar, if you can, because I'm just going to, if you can make it bigger, because my eyesight is so bad right now. But it says, Deadpool star Ryan Reynolds said he and his wife are deeply and unreservedly sorry for holding their 2012 wedding ceremony at a South Carolina plantation. He says, it's impossible to reconcile, Reynolds told Fast Company in a profile published on Tuesday. What we saw at the time was a wedding venue on Pinterest. What we saw after was a place built upon devastating tragedy. And so they were in this little, like, they needed good PR. So what happened was they decided, it says the move was criticized at the time. You know, he came under renewed scrutiny in 2018 after Reynolds tweeted his support of Black Panther, the first superhero movie to feature a majority Black cast, and he was accused of hypocrisy. So they were like, oh my gosh, we're being called racist. What do we do? Well, we're rich. We're fabulously rich. We have money. And so they contacted the NAACP and wrote them a big check. Okay, that's what happened. That's the whole story. Everybody needed a Black friend to make it through 2018. And so Blake and Ryan paid for some. And now they're seeing how far that investment has taken them. They're wondering if it has yielded them some profit, some PR profit 5 years later. And they so they're hitting up Cheryl and we're like, look, we are in trouble again. It worked last time. Could you just say some nice stuff? Say some nice stuff about us because you have higher social currency than we do because you work for the NAACP. And they were like, yeah, sure. So yeah, I don't have an issue with this because it's a very obvious PR move, and that's exactly what they're doing. And we'll see if it works with the public. And I want to say beyond that, in terms of her actions in 2025, I think she's influential. I think the Justin Baldoni case is incredibly influential. It's bad influential for her, good influential for society, allowing people to actually see how Hollywood operates. She's influencing the left and the right to come together and to demand justice for Justin Baldoni. I think that's wonderful. I think she's a net positive in 2025. So if she wants to tweet pretty pictures of her in a magazine, I am with it. In other lady news, we have to speak about this Blue Origin space mission, okay? Because women. Sometimes we can just be such women, you know? It's like we're crying on a bed because our husband goes for a run and we think he's going to just be taken out in the middle of DC by some hogs that don't live in DC, you know? And this is kind of what this mission was, because it was just really annoying in all the ways that I didn't want it to be annoying. So just to give you guys the facts, on April 14th, Jeff Bezos, you know, he has the private space flight startup, which is called Blue Origin. And they decided to launch 6 well-known women into space. Here's a picture of the ladies that are going to space. Looks like it could be the cover of a Spice Girls album. I love it, okay? Now, the company decided to document the event with a live stream that was hosted by sportscaster Carissa Thompson, more ladies, and they had celebrities, Kris Jenner, Orlando Bloom, Oprah Winfrey, that were watching from the ground because we wanted to get as much publicity as possible. Jeff Bezos escorted the crew to the capsule, and then the rocket blasted into the sky. There was live audio inside the ship. One of the occupants could be heard screaming, "Oh my goodness." Okay, so who went to space? It was Gail King, former NASA scientist Aisha Bowe, Lauren Sanchez, Jeff Bezos' soon-to-be wife and journalist, research scientist Amanda Nguyen, and Katy Perry. So you gotta have a pop star in there. Plus film producer Carrie Ann Flynn is there. And they promoted this as the first all-women space flight because the only other time that a woman went to space, the first was Soviet Union cosmonaut Valentina Tereshkova. She was the first woman in space. She made a solo trip back in 1963, and she spent 3 days in space. She circled the Earth 48 times, and then she landed herself as a feminist icon. So they were kind of trying to redo this historic moment. And they're like, we're just going to have so many celebrities and activists. We're going to launch them into space. And then they just made it super girly. Like, okay, but like, what about the fashion? So Lauren Sanchez got together and decided to design the Blue Origin suits in collaboration with Oscar de la Renta because like they have money. So they got the creative directors of Oscar de la Renta to design these fantastic suits that were tailored to their bodies, because these aren't your regular astronauts. These are hot astronauts. These are babes, okay? When we do science, we make it hot and we make it girly. And they were very girly about the adventure, like, oh, whoa. This is a live look and listen of that space adventure.
Got it? 1, 2, 3, taking up space!
Tamir's in space.
Flynn, behind you. Look right behind you. It's okay. Leave Flynn up there. Flynn, behind you. Look at Flynn, I gotcha. I gotcha, Flynn.
Gotcha.
Proud of you,
It's like essentially a TikTok party, right? It's like it's like a girly sleepover party. We can come out of this, and of course, if you're doing anything girly and you're screaming, "Woo! Let's paint our nails. Let's stay up late. Let's eat low-calorie snacks," you got to bring in the Kardashians, right? Because the Kardashians always have to be on hand if you want to be taken really seriously, and this is really about science. You bring along Mama Jenner. You bring along Khloe Kardashian, and you bring along Kim Kardashian, and they were all on hand. They all surprised Lauren Sanchez, and they didn't just surprise her with like, "Hey, we're here for this amazing mission." They also decided to surprise her by bringing her a lavish, super expensive purse. Yeah, this is page 6. The Kardashians gifted Lauren Sanchez with an out of this world, get it? $7,000 purse after her Blue Origin space flight. Woo! It was a Judith Lever. You guys probably never even heard that, but it's so expensive. Don't even think about it. You can't afford it. You can't touch this. It's out of this world. And Sanchez decided to share that on her Instagram stories, and she wrote "out of this world" and tagged them. Oh my gosh! Could you just imagine being this rich and this wonderful? Oh, this is the kind of wealth we all could aspire to. It's so relatable. This is exactly the direction that the space program needs to go into. And they decided to also nail onto the gift a luxury handbag label UFO orbiter that's what it's called, the UFO orbiter bag. And actually, in case you are rich and you're listening to this podcast and you want to buy it, you can. It retails for $6,995. So, woo, go get you some. And they said the product turns heads. That's what the product description states on the website. Anyways, here's what the Kardashians had to say about the trip. They were on the ground. Take a listen.
I am standing by with two women who need no introduction. And Chris, I have to start with you. What is it like to be here, and what brought you all the way out here to this launch?
Well, Lauren and Jeff, we're here to support our girlfriend and our friends, and I never thought that we'd be talking to you from a space launch, for sure. So this is a really unique experience, and we're just so honored to be here to support them and watch this amazing part of history. And I'm so proud of her. And I just feel like
all of the female astronauts that are going to go up today. It's such a big day in history, and it's so empowering, especially my daughter is 7, and just to see something like this.
You know, my daughter's only 2, and I didn't even share this with her. I feel ashamed of myself. She's so right. I just want my daughter to know that someday you can be launched with your super wealthy friends and you can get a $7,000 bag. You just have to know the right people, and celebrities will be waiting for you on the ground when you get back. And then we're going to tell people that you made history. We can just buy this. This is amazing. This is the kind of life lessons that I want my daughter to learn. And if there's also another thing that she should learn with Mama Jenner on hand, because she's taught the world a lot over the years, it's that you should never miss a moment to market yourself and make money, right? So you're spending a little bit of money, $7,000, but what money could you be making while you're on this trip? How could you make this more about yourself? And Katy Perry did that. She decided to promote her Lifetimes tour. She's going on tour. So she promoted it in space. Take a look. This is so girly. Oh, she's holding a little butterfly. And if you zoom in on that little butterfly, it lists all of the songs. We see that she's going to sing on her Butterfly Lifetimes tour, Teenage Dream. Hot in your cold, yes, and you know. Woo! 1, 2, 3, girl power. Anyways, I'm very confused because then these girls landed and no one took them seriously. Yeah, it's crazy. That's obviously got to be sexism. It's crazy. And so what Gayle King did when she saw that people were not taking them seriously and were not referring to them as astronauts, she did what women do best. She started complaining. She was just like, okay, we did something, got right into this male-dominated space, and we just ruined it, okay? And what she was upset about was the fact that so many articles were written and they were referring to it as a ride rather than referring to it as a very serious space mission. So here is Gayle King in an interview on Extra, just, sharing her upset about this.
We use space technology all the time, whether it's your GPS, whether it's your satellite. That doesn't just happen.
Every time a flight goes up, they get some type of information. Two of the astronauts, I still have a hard time calling myself an astronaut, but two of the astronauts on board, one is a rocket scientist, one is an astrophysicist activist, were actually doing experiments. But every time one of those goes up, you get some information that can be used for something else. So I wish people would do more due diligence. And then my question is, have y'all been to space? Have you been to space? Go to space or go to Blue Origin and see what they do and how they do, and then come back and say, this is a terrible thing. I don't like that people are calling it a ride. A ride, you know, you never see a male astronaut who's going up in space and they said, oh, he took a ride. We actually duplicated the route that Alan Shepard did. That's why it's called, this particular capsule is called the New Shepard. We duplicated that route. No one said he took that ride.
Yeah.
It's always referred to as a flight or a journey. So I feel that that's a little disrespectful to what the mission was and what the work that Blue Origin does. Mm-hmm. Number three, I've had so many girls and women and some guys who are saying, whoa, I saw what you did. I'm thinking maybe I should reconsider. Maybe I could do this too. The young girls in particular. But it's not just the young girls. We're also encouraging, I mean, the boys look at it and see what women and young girls can do. Yeah. So I know there are cranky Yankees. I know there are some haters, but I'm not going to let people steal my joy and steal the joy of what we did or what we accomplished that day. I'm just not going to let it in. I'm not.
No, don't let it. Don't let it upset you, Gail. You are an astronaut, okay? You are like totally legit astronaut. And what happened on that day was amazing. It took Sleepover Party to the next level. It was out of this world. I loved it. Like, I loved every second of it. Woo! But as we all know, the patriarchy, yeah, they have to ruin everything. They're just sexist and jealous and chauvinistic. And there was nothing to critique about that journey. And they are not being taken seriously. They're not being taken like science people, like the periodic element, a periodic table of elements, you know, like chem people, whatever. And people like Matt Walsh, who's one of the most, I think, patriarchal monsters on the planet, had some choice words for Gayle King. Take a listen.
Have you all been to space? Have you been to No, we haven't been to space, Gail, because we don't have a friend who's dating Jeff Bezos. Okay, we don't have a friend who's dating the guy who owns the rocket ship. She actually calls herself an astronaut. Gail, you can call yourself an astronaut in the same sense that my 8-year-old son can call himself an architect because he builds stuff with Legos. Gayle King comparing herself to Alan Shepard, it's like making a phone call in the year 2025 and then comparing yourself to Alexander Graham Bell. It's like saying, hey, when I made a phone call, I did exactly the same thing that Alexander Graham Bell did in 1876. Anyone who denies my achievement is sexist. Oh, sure, when that man, Alexander Graham Bell, when he makes a phone call, you guys act like it's a big deal. But when I do it, nobody cares. Sexism is alive and well.
That's how I feel every time I send a text message. Like, people don't appreciate what I'm doing. And it is because of sexism and because they don't see that I am exactly like Alexander Graham Bell. But here's my bone to pick with Matt Walsh. We have a long running beef on the topic of NASA and moon landings because he thinks they happened. And listen, when the guys did it, it was fake and gay. I'm sorry, Matt, and it's time for you to admit it. It was just as bad. You just weren't alive for it, okay? Homies were on the moon making phone calls before the time of cell phones, like, hey, what's up, Prez? It's me on the moon with the flag. No issues. First time we've ever flown this thing. Yeah, I don't know. We just got through the belt pretty easily. And until Matt Walsh accepts that the mission in 69 was also fake and gay, I don't care. I can't defend you. Even if I fully agree with you about Gayle King, I won't. I literally cannot defend you. Okay, you must come to terms with the fact that NASA and space missions have always been this fake and gay. You just weren't alive for the original ones, and you need to learn the history of NASA, of the Apollo programs, which were occult and satanic. It was literally meant to be an antichrist movement to make people believe in man. It's a fact. I'm going to show you guys. It's like, you can look this up anywhere. Look up Jack Parsons and the Apollo program. They just wanted people to believe in scientific advancement. The guy who created the Apollo program was this guy, Jack Parsons. Can you pull up this clip, Skylar? You know, this is from a podcast, the Science History Institute Museum and Library. This is one of their podcasts. And you scroll down here, and you, again, are probably going to have to make this bigger for my eyes, but at the top here, you know, Jack Parsons was a brilliant rocket scientist, but he lived a wild lifestyle with a devil may care attitude. He was pretty relaxed about safety and dabbled in drugs, occult practices, and sex cult rituals. It would all eventually catch up with him, though, and quite literally they were throwing these sex rituals, and he believed that he had summoned the devil, and the devil told him that he needed to create a moon child. Next thing you know, they're telling us we made it to the moon. I mean, you got to look into Jack Parsons and the origin of NASA. I'm telling you, space has always been exceedingly fake and gay. It was fake and gay when the men did it, and it's now fake and gay because the women did it. So go back and watch our NASA episode to learn more about the establishment of the Apollo program and why it's always been occult and satanic, and about devil worship and about the Antichrist. It's just undeniable. It's like a part of history that's just real. So I'm challenging you, Matt Walsh, once again, until you say, Candace, you were right. Space is not real. I'm just a guy and grew up with little astronaut figurines, and I can't let it go because a little boy in me doesn't want to say no. All right, guys, cutting to some sponsors. Paleo Valley. I eat paleo when I am pregnant. I've been eating paleo at least for the last couple of months. Something I have been craving this pregnancy is beef sticks, specifically the ones from my friends at Paleo Valley. Paleo Valley makes their meat sticks with 100% grass-fed beef sourced from a small-scale regenerative American farm, so you can feel good about what you're eating and what you're supporting. They've stripped out all the junk. There's no preservatives, gluten, soy, sugar, dairy, or GMOs. Just clean, nutrient-dense fuel the way that food was really meant to be. So whether you are road tripping, working late, running around with the kids, these sticks deliver high-protein energy without the crash. So if you're keto, paleo, carnivore, it doesn't matter, because Paleo Valley will work with your lifestyle, not against it. They come in 5 bold flavors. Jalapeno, which is my favorite. There's original summer sausage, garlic summer sausage, and teriyaki. So there's something for everyone. With over 55 million beef sticks sold, Paleo Valley is trusted, proven, and backed by a 60-day money-back guarantee. Right now, you'll get 20% off your first order if you head to paleovalley.com/Candace and you use code Candace at checkout. That's paleovalley.com/Candace and use promo code Candace at checkout. Also reminding you, tax season is upon us. Tax day may have passed, but for millions of Americans, the real trouble is just beginning. If you missed the April 15th deadline or you still owe back taxes, the IRS is ramping up enforcement. Every day that you wait just makes it worse. You know that, with over 5,000 new tax liens filed daily. And tools like property seizure, bank levies, and wage garnishments, the IRS is applying pressure at levels that we have not seen in years. Increased administrative scrutiny means collections are moving very fast as well. But there is good news, because there is still time for Tax Network USA to help you. Self-employed or a business owner, they can help both. If your books are a mess, they have got you covered. Tax Network USA specializes in cleaning up financial chaos and getting you back on track fast. Even after the deadline, it is not too late to regain control. Your consultation will be completely free, and if you act now, you could stop the penalties of threatening letters and surprise levies before they even escalate. So call 1-800-958-1000 or visit tnusa.com/Candace. You may have missed April 15th, but you have not run out of options. Let Tax Network USA help before the IRS makes the next move. Again, call 1-800-958-1000 or simply visit tnusa.com/Candace. All right. Roseanne Barr. Roseanne Barr. You guys know Roseanne Barr. You grew up watching her on TV, on Roseanne. And then she kind of got canceled. I don't remember what she got canceled for, but I feel like it had something to do with Black Lives Matter. Oh, I know what it was. She said Valerie Jarrett looked like a person from the Planet of the Apes. And unbeknownst to her, Valerie Jarrett is like part black. So they were like, you cannot say that Valerie Jarrett looks like someone from Planet of the Apes because she's like 25% black. I remember this whole scandal. And then she got canceled because she was doing her new show. And also, Valerie Jarrett does, objectively speaking, look like someone from Planet of the Apes. Like I did the side-by-side comparison on my old show. We all look like someone, you know. My sisters used to pick on me and tell me I look like an ant. you know, like she some it looked like Bala from Ants. Like everyone looks like someone, and Valerie Jarrett does happen to look like a person from the recent Planet of the Apes movie. Like whatever, but I can say that because I'm black. Mark saved. You guys should not say that, so don't say it. Okay, do not say that. That's very racist. Anyway, so Roseanne Barr, I've been on her show before. I actually been to her house before. She was unbelievably kind. Her son was unbelievably kind. And Roseanne Barr does say things to be over the top and theatrical. And she, I guess, got very thug life because she's super pro-Israel. And when they don't have an argument to make, they just accuse you of being funded by Qatar. And this has been a repeat charge, I don't know, over the last couple of months. And I have very openly stated, I would like to be funded by Qatar. Like, Qatar, if you are watching, please. I have no issues. They're not going to, like, reverse psychology me. You come at me with $3 million, I'll read ads for Qatar. Go Qatar, whatever. I don't know. Use a Qatar train. I don't know. Qataris own, like, all of London. I would love to stay at one of their hotels. I have no issues with that. It's just I'm actually not funded by Qatar. That's the only thing. But this is what they're saying because they're just all out of like debates and they're just like everybody's funded by Iran and everybody's funded by Qatar. And so she goes on this podcast, which is called the Mislabeled Podcast. It's hosted by a guy named Label Weiner. And she threatened to knock me the F out, and House and Habit loved this. Jessica Reed Krause, you know, the person who starts stuff and then pretends she's a victim. So she's like sharing this, like, oh, look at Candace is funded by Qatar because Roseanne Barr said it. Here's what Roseanne Barr said.
What's her take on Candace Owens?
Monster. If I see the I'll knock her the out. She's an Islamist. Everything she says is straight out of it. It obviously comes down to this. She's taking the Qatari money. Hello. There's nothing else.
Where do you think this came from? Because she obviously used to be...
She's getting paid by Jews, so she was doing that number. But I think when she got fired for being a Jew hater, and she is a Jew hater on every level, and from medieval times with her blood libel bullshit and all that stuff.
Crazy. Wow. Funded by Qatar. I learned so much about myself on the internet, and this one really deeply upsets me because I do want the money. I just want to be very clear on the record. I want the Qatari money, okay? But anyways, I just want to show you guys everything is performative. Everything is fake and gay, you know, kind of a theme of the show. And Roseanne Barr, you are included in that because she does these things and she says stuff like that. And before it even airs, she always messages me and it's like, oh, just letting you know this is coming out, but like, I love you. And, you know, I was just kind of like playing it up to the camera. She's done this like 3 times now. And it's just getting a little bit like, Roseanne, come on, man. Stop trying to create viral clips. Stop saying the stuff that you know isn't true. I'm not going to come at you hard because I just don't really care to. I also kind of respect my elders and I had a pleasant time with you. But I'm going to show you before this podcast even dropped, because nothing is real. Like, I want you to know that nothing in Hollywood is real. Everyone's just playing a role. This is what she messaged me after she got off the podcast. She said, this is a private X DM. She said, well, I did it again. This time I was super triggered and made a rather aggressive comment on a podcast about you. Yeah, rather aggressive. You threatened to punch me in the face, knock me the F out. And I'm like 9 months pregnant. It's not very nice. She said, it sounded very insane looking back at their edit, and I wanted to reach out and get ahead of it. Obviously, you and I have big disagreements, and I'm a crazy old Jewish lady, but I suspect that they're going to try to make it go viral to pump up their podcast, and hopefully you treat it as another big mouth Roseanne moment. But if you don't and want to argue about it publicly or whatever, that's your right, of course. With all that set aside, we really do need to figure out a way to keep the right from factioning. They, the elites, took down the left by getting them to have arguments internally, and they're doing it to us now. I feel it's a divide and conquer thing, and I hate myself that I got caught up in it at times. Why privately, though? Right? You know what I'm saying, guys? Why? It's like everybody's so fake. I just don't this is why I don't like Hollywood and I don't like politics, because I just deal with people as they actually are. If she felt that way, if she felt that she got caught in a moment, put that on your X feed. Like, don't trash talk the podcast people of them trying to get you all hyped to say stuff privately to me while you're trash talking me publicly to them. And again, I respect my elders, so I'm not coming at her hard. I'm not going to respond to it because it's an ad hominem, ridiculous attack, and nothing that she said is true or of substance. But I just wanted to show you guys that nothing's real. Just nothing is real at all, okay? Everybody's fake, everyone. Anyways, you guys, when I tell you to drink 7 Weeks Coffee, it is America's pro-life coffee company on a mission to fund the pro-life movement one cup of coffee at a time. They are called 7 Weeks Coffee because at 7 weeks, a baby is the size of a coffee bean. And it's the same time that a heartbeat is clearly detected on an ultrasound. That's why they donate 10% of every sale to support pregnancy care centers across the country. They've thus far raised $800,000 for these centers, and they've saved thousands of lives. And I can tell you the coffee is fantastic. It's mold-free, pesticide-free, shade-grown, low acid, organically farmed, checks all the boxes. And right now, when you subscribe to 7 Weeks Coffee, you'll get a free 2-pack of their new single-serve brew bags to take your coffee wherever life takes you. So whether you're traveling, working, adventuring, you can easily enjoy a rich, flavorful cup of coffee by adding hot water and letting the to-go bag steep for a few minutes. So head to 7weekscoffee.com and you'll save 15% forever when you subscribe. Plus, exclusively for my listeners, if you use code Candace at checkout, you'll get an extra 10% off your first order. So that's a total 25% saving on your first order if you just head to 7weekscoffee.com and use code Candace at checkout today. And also reminding you guys about American financing, because with everything that's happening in the economy, it feels like we're all walking on shaky ground. Prices are high, and it seems like nothing is affordable anymore. And it's no wonder that so many people are relying on their credit cards. Credit card debt is skyrocketing in the process, and it's leaving a lot of people feeling tremendously stressed out. So if you are a homeowner, you should know that you don't have to face this uncertainty all alone. You can call my friends in American Financing, and they can help you take control. They can help you access the equity in your home to help you pay down that high interest credit card debt, giving you peace of mind and real savings. On average, people just like you are saving $800 a month. Plus, they may close your loan in as little as 10 days. Do not let the chaos of this economy get the best of you. Call American Financing right now. It costs nothing to get started, and you may even be able to delay 2 mortgage payments, giving you a cushion in this uncertain time. Call 800-795-1210. Again, that's 800-795-1210. Or simply visit americanfinancing.net/Owens. That's americanfinancing.net/Owens. All right, I'm excited to read some of your comments about everything just not being real in this world. Nothing in this world is real. Okay. I don't know how I lost this document. Here we are. First up, we have Sewerside Productions regarding Matt Walsh. He writes, quote, "The moon landings being fake would be too big of a lie for that many people to go along with." Also, Matt Walsh, everything that happened in 2020 was a lie. Yes, this is a long-standing debate between me and Matt Walsh, and I will win it. I will be persistent. I will nag. I will be a woman. And eventually, one day, he will go on to a show and he will say what he needs to say. And what he's going to say is, "Candace, I'm sorry, you were right about everything." That's what I feel like that day is coming very soon. Kate writes, "That was hurtful, Candace. True, but hurtful. Also, how many women work at NASA don't get to go to space. Really gross as a current engineering student." I mean, they brutalized us. They embarrassed us, okay? We just have to admit, women, when we get annoying. And that was like, the cringe, the absolute cringe. It's okay. Stereotypes are real. We nag a little, we're a little annoying, and that's okay. We don't need to try to pretend we're not. But I just can't believe that then they're going to gaslight us and pretend, well, no one's taking us seriously. You didn't take yourself seriously. I mean, the fashion designers, girl power. Woo! Which Spice Girl are you? I'm Baby Spice. I'm Scary Spice. It's just really, really bad. Tara writes, "If these women want to be known as astronauts, then I'm a pilot. Can we please be teleported back to reality? The insanity is exhausting." It is. There's something about it that's also just, as Matt said, it's just like wealthy people laughing at us. There's nothing here that's scientific. It's just like, I now have so much money that I can just do whatever I want, and I'm bored with spending it. And so I guess kind of going to the Earth's surface sounds fun with my girlfriend. That's what this is. And things that we're going to get custom things made by our super rich billionaire friends to greet us when we get back. It is pretty exhausting. Chris D writes, "I'm a legit carpenter. This desk from IKEA was not easy to build." I mean, I don't know what the context of that is, but yes, I think it was because of Matt said something about his daughter. And IKEA stuff does get tricky to build. It's the little pieces. Sonia Lazada writes, "Peace and blessings to you and your family, Candace. Christ is King and he has risen." Yes, tomorrow is Good Friday, my friends, and Easter is on Sunday. Paula in Ohio writes, I giggled just reading the title of the upcoming show. Can't wait. You honestly speak for all of us when you point out the obvious idiocracy happening in Hollywood. They just can't see themselves, I think. Jeff Bezos obviously has to be smart. And I don't know. Like I said, I think he's just like the geeky kid that made it. And he's just like, this is my wife and she's hot and she's always got her boobs out. And so I'm smiling and happy all the time because I have more money than I can possibly spend. Right? They are like wanting to do the opposite of hood rat things with their friends, just like totally out of touch things with their friends while they pop champagne and laugh at us. Shelby Adamson writes, a good friend was diagnosed with inflammatory breast cancer stage 3. Her doctor prescribed a PET scan. Insurance is denying she can appeal, but it will take months. Please do a deep dive on the insurance industry crisis king. Yeah, the insurance industry, you don't have to do a deep dive. It's a total scam. It's a total scam. It is one facet of the pharmaceutical industry, and it always has been a scam. And people get it wrong when they're like, oh, it should be free. Healthcare should be free. No, it should be affordable. It should be like walking into CVS to buy Tylenol, affordable. And it could be if we got the insurance companies out and they weren't doing deals behind the scenes. But don't get me on a rant about that because I will keep ranting. Brian writes, I call cage match between Candace and Blake Lively, Justin Baldoni to referee. I have no beef with her. I'm just calling out the obvious PR move here. I mean, where did I lie? How do you give money in 2019 and make a list for being influential? And why would you pick the NAACP, former general counsel, whatever she is, to issue a I don't even know her as a celebrity. Yeah, you know her as a rich person because that's how you guys make money. People that need good PR when they're being accused of racism cut big checks to the NAACP. I mean, what? What do you want me to do? This is why everybody hates me because I just don't go along with the thing. Anyways, guys, if you want someone to be a Black person by your side who will say nice things about you if you cut them a check, I'm happy to do that. If you find yourself, maybe you're a Qatari watching this right now. Maybe you're a white person and you're being, just pay me. I will be your friend. I will pop up and I'll be like, Shelby is wonderful. I don't know Shelby as anything other than a wonderful human being, always so kind and so gracious as I cash her $100,000 into my bank account. That's the NAACP. Love them. Love what they're doing. They hope racism never dies because then they'd be out of business, of course. Anyways, you guys, that is all we have for you today. Reminding you, we just started Hollywood Babylon in the book club yesterday. We already went so deep and I think I only read 4 pages, but leading up to us discussing just everything that's happening, the occult, about why it's called Hollywood Babylon. This book is just absolutely incredible, and it makes it even better knowing that the elite hate it and try to debunk it all the time. So you can sign up to join the book club, and we've literally only read the first 4 pages. So head to CandaceOwens.com, join the book club, monthly book club, get this book, and our next meeting is on April 25th at 6 p.m. Eastern. You can also, while you're at CandaceOwens.com, buy yourself some gear. We've got great stuff. Anti-feminist, make him a sandwich. Girls just want to have manly men. All different types of colors have been restocked because you guys have loved this line. So you can head there, and you can also pre-order my book, which is called, obviously, Make Him a Sandwich. Other than that, you guys, we will see you tomorrow.